What's goody? It's your host J Rose as always, and we back with another rant. I just felt like talking, and today I wanted to talk about my favorite players at each position. I probably should have thought about what my players were at each position before I started the video, but here we are, so we're just gonna get into it. At the point guard is a little tricky because I'm not even sure what players classify at what position right now, but I feel like it's not going to be too hard of a decision. There's one guy I'm obviously considering, and I'll just put him as an honorable mention at this point right now. I'm thinking about Steph Curry at the point guard. My favorite point guard would have to be Luka Doncic. If you know, you know. Luka's my guy, and if Luka's being classified as a 1, then Luka is my 1. But my 2 would have to be Kyrie. And I'm not sure how the rotation is going to look and who's going to be at the 1, who's going to be at the 2. I'd assume Luka's going to be at the 1 because he's a far better playmaker. Not to say Kyrie's bad at it, but I'll assume Luka's going to be at the 1. So, yeah, if Kyrie was at the 1, I'd put Steph as my favorite point guard and put Luka at the 2. I'm a little tempted to do it, but I'm just for the sake of the video, I'll just leave it as is. We're going to put Luka at the 1. And man, Luka's been my favorite player for a while. He was on my radar when he came in. I wasn't quite a fan at that point in time. What really did it for me was in the bubble. What I saw what he was doing in the bubble, that really opened my eyes to see what Luka was capable of. And I've really been gearing for him since that happened. Seeing the step back game winner on the Clippers and everything that he did, the numbers he was putting up, he just looked amazing. And to see what he's doing at his age, he's literally historic already. He looks incredible. His playoff numbers incredible. His regular season numbers incredible. He's doing things that we haven't seen done before, and I'm just hyped to see how the rest of his career pans out. When you talk about guys who have GOAT potential, guys who are young and have the potential to be in the top 20, top 10, top whatever players, I think Luka is definitely in that conversation, and I'm absolutely hyped to see him play next season, as I am every single time he hops on the court. And yeah, let's just see what he can get done, honestly. Like with Kyrie, a full season of Kyrie, I feel like we should be able to do a lot more with the Mavericks. And I feel like the only thing that Luka is missing right now is the hardware. If he would have an MVP right now or a finals even appearance, I feel like a lot of people would give him more credit. But he does get a lot of credit. So I'm not even going to say that he's like an underrated guy, because he's not. Obviously, he's not. But yeah, that's definitely my favorite point guard. And as for the 2, Kyrie swerving, man. Kyrie is just so fun to watch. Every time I watch Kyrie, I just can't help but be in awe. Like the way that he moves, the moves he makes, the step backs and the lays, man. That is the most underrated portion to his game, in my opinion. I feel like people talk about his handle all day and night, but that man's under the rim finishing is some of the best I've ever seen ever. If you don't call Kyrie Irving one of the best finishers of all time, you don't know basketball and you just like to watch dunks. That's how I feel about it. Kyrie Irving under the basket, and if you don't know what under the basket means, it's literally below the basket. Lays, the jellies, the floaters, all of that. Kyrie Irving is one of the best, if not the best, finishers under the hoop, and I can stand by that. Watching Kyrie is an experience every time he hops on the floor, and I'm definitely excited. Luka and Kyrie is the best offensive backcourt in the NBA, hands down, and I'm eating this year, and I don't care. Like, I had to suffer last season. Last season was a train wreck. You hear me? We made the conference finals, and then last season was literally a plummet. And I'm not even saying like they couldn't have made the playoffs and they couldn't have done some damage in the playoffs. They could have, but I expected a lot more from the Mavericks last season. So this season, with a full season of Kyrie, a full season of Luka, I'm expecting us to be great. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not expecting us to be the best team in the league, but I'm expecting us to be great and at least fun to watch. At the small forward, this is a very, very hard decision to make. I feel like there's not too many small forwards that I'm even really interested in the NBA right now, if I'm being completely honest with you. I'm going to have to check. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I feel like the small forward position got a little bit diluted over the years. And I do want to tell y'all a story, because I was high on Jason Tatum and I was a fan on Jason Tatum, but now that he's such a huge star, I don't really feel that same connection to him as I felt before. The first time Jason Tatum was on my radar, because I don't watch college hoops, So don't get at me for not knowing what JT did at Duke. That's not my thing. That's not my thing. Maybe I'll get into it in the future. I've watched college games here and there, but overall, I'm not an NCAA watcher. That's just not my bop. First time JT was on my radar was in the summer league, and I was just watching how he plays. He was still doing the side steps and the mid-range pull-ups, and honestly, he wasn't even hitting some of those shots. And I was just like, no, I see the vision. This guy's gonna be nice. And I like Jason Tatum from that point on. I still do like Jason Tatum, but I wouldn't call him one of my favorite players. And actually, a lot of you are probably going to look at me sideways for I'm going to say my favorite player is. You're going to be like, wait, so you picked this guy over Jason Tatum? Yes, because this is my favorite player. It's not who I think is better. So, my favorite small forward in the NBA is Josh Hart. And I know that's very underwhelming. You're not going to look at Josh Hart as a guy to really go out there and do a lot, but he really does. He's like a Swiss Army knife, and I would really like if he was on my team, honestly. Josh Hart is a good playmaker. He's a good scorer. He's a good shooter. He's a good rebounder. He does a little bit of everything. I feel like if he wanted to score, he could get up there into that 18, 20 point per game range, but he's fine doing the dirty work, guarding the best players, grabbing the grinded out rebounds, going for them loose balls. He just does what he needs to do to win, and I appreciate him for that. I really do. He got on the Knicks for pennies on the dollar, and I thought that was a terrible trade. They traded Cam Reddish and somebody else for Josh Hart, the Trailblazers, and I was like, what are y'all doing? Like, seriously, what are y'all doing? And yeah, I can't even blame Damian Lillard for wanting out of that franchise, because that trade was absolute garbage. But yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of Josh Hart. That's my guy. Word, that's my guy. That's my guy! The power forward position. That's interesting, man. I don't know if I got a power forward either. With my favorite power forward, I'm gonna go with Paolo Banchero. And I feel like that's kind of a weird pick, especially because he's so young. He hasn't really done too much in his young NBA career, but he does look good. He looks really good as a rookie. He averaged, 20 points per game last season, right? He led the rookies in almost every stat, and he was injured for a lot of the season last year too. So I find that to be very impressive. I liked how Paolo looked, and you guys are going to be like, but you just said you don't watch college ball. I don't. But I watched a couple of Paolo games in college, so I was in tune with that. I liked how he looked in college. I thought he had a really complete game. Now he's in the league, and he does have a complete game. So I appreciate what Paolo brings. I hope that the Magic can make some more moves and really move that process along. I feel like they've been rebuilding for a very long time at this point. But yeah, I do like Paolo. I'm ready for him to come out and be a star, honestly. I don't know how good he's going to be. I don't know what his ceiling is, but he absolutely is a good player right now, and he's a young star. So I'm hoping to see some growth from him as well. He's one of my favorite players for sure. I feel like he needs to get that jump shot up. He needs to get that jump shot up. I feel like if he gets a real nice jump shot, he'll be a force, but we'll see what happens with that. At the center position, I've struggled for small forward, power forward, and center, but at least I had an answer. For the center position, I don't even know if I'm going to end up having an answer for y'all, if I'm being serious. Like, I'm cool with Jokic. You know what I'm saying? I mess with Jokic. I love watching him play. It's an awkward style of basketball, but I do like watching him play. Joel Embiid, he's good. He's a great guy, great player, but I just can't get down with him. Just can't get down with Embiid. I think he cries too much. He doesn't take accountability. Just not my cup of tea. And then we got other centers. We got Bam Adebayo, who I liked a couple years ago, but I feel like he hasn't gotten much better since he won. Did he win the Most Improved Player? Or did Brandon Ingram win Most Improved Player? I know it was them two in the race. So whoever won that year, that's the year I'm talking about. So Bam Adebayo was in the running for Most Improved Player. I'm not sure if he won it or not, but I don't think he's really gotten too much better since that season. And if anything, he's gotten worse and more timid offensively. So I just don't know about Bam. Y'all know how I feel about Karl Anthony Towns. If you know how I feel about Karl Anthony Towns, you know. I can't stand a Karl Anthony Towns, man. Like, his personality and his play just don't mesh. He really thinks he's the best player to ever touch a basketball, and he's just not. I can't get down with Karl Anthony Towns. I think he's mid. Sabonis is like a target version of Jokic, so I don't. He's cool, you know what I mean? He's a good player, but I couldn't call him like a favorite player of mine. At the center position, I can't even really give y'all an answer. I'm not gonna lie. Like I really genuinely don't have a favorite center in the NBA. I feel like I should just pick a young center that could be nice and just run with it because I really don't have an answer right now. You know what? I do have an answer. But it's exactly what I said I was gonna do. I'm gonna take a young center and I'm gonna run with it. Chet Holmgren. I like Chet last year in the summer league. This year in the summer league, he looks even better. I think at the very least, he's going to be really good on weak side defense, and he's going to rack up them blocks. I don't think he gets enough credit, especially because the prospect this year is Victor Wembanyama, and they're talking about his size and what he can do for his size. And I look at Chet, and I see a lot of similarities in their game. Not saying they play exactly the same because they don't, but I do see a lot of similarities, especially with the jump shooting. Both of them have a little bit of a handle. Both of them are really good on the offside defense. I think Wembanyama has a higher upside, especially because he's literally unstoppable. He has like 4 inches on Chet, and I think he might be a little bit too tall, not for nothing, but at the same token, when he rises up, who's contesting that shot? Nobody. So I feel like Vic definitely has a higher ceiling, but I do like Chet, and I'll run with Chet. Chet's going to be my favorite center, and going forward, I'm going to definitely tune into some more of that. The Thunder should come in and be really good next season. I don't know about really good, but I think Shea and Chet can definitely make some noise. They have a nice young core, so we'll see where that goes. But yeah, my list was Luka at the 1, Kyrie at the 2, Josh Hart at the 3, Paolo at the 4, and then Chet at the 5. I have a really, really young list. I think the oldest players are Josh Hart and Kyrie. Everybody else is pretty young. I think Luka's like, 25, Paolo's 20, Chet is 20. So yeah, I got a young list here, but those are my favorite dudes in the league right now at each position. I feel like I'm a guard heavy guy. So if you just want to know my favorite players in general, we'll come back and do another video because a lot of my favorite players are guards, facts. Or maybe I'm just not thinking of certain players, but no, seriously, a lot of my favorite players are guards. I love guard play. I love the sauciness of it all. But yeah, that's my list. We back with another rant. And if y'all enjoying these, please let me know. I'm definitely down to do more rants, and I will catch y'all in the next one.